Hi guys, so Inaction Man is living up to his name once again. Rishi Sunak has pulled the plug on some net zero commitments. Now, the original plan to ban petrol and diesel cars from 2030 has been postponed, and measures to replace gas boilers was watered down. The excuse is that it will protect people from the costs of such policies. This from a party that imposed austerity for the best part of 13 years. So why is Sunak doing this? Because he's scared. He's desperate to win back some support from voters. He's trying to pull off another Uxbridge by-election type win. But none of this matters, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But first, let's have a listen to this report from Sky News.
And I hereby declare that the said Steve Tuckwell is duly elected.
This, the moment Britain started down a different path on climate policy. The Uxbridge by-election in July won by the Tories because of their opposition to the ULEZ climate change scheme.
No, ULEZ has nothing to do with climate change. ULEZ is related to air pollution. My God, this is pretty bad from Sam Coates. Anyway, let's continue.
A review personally by the Prime Minister, who's always worried about the costs of net zero. And now, the results due this week. A big shift in policy and softening of climate targets, likely to provoke a major reaction for and against. A leak of the plans has prompted a rare late-night statement from the Prime Minister, saying, "For too many years, politicians in governments of all stripes have not been honest about costs and trade-offs. Instead, they've taken the easy way out, saying we can have it all. We are..."
Okay, sorry, but Rishi Sunak saying that politicians haven't been honest about the costs and trade-offs. Okay.
Are committed to net zero by 2050 and the agreements we have made internationally, but doing so in a better, more proportionate way. No leak will stop me beginning the process of telling the country how and why we need to change. Tory backbenchers who wanted this to happen, happy.
It's a very positive step for common sense and to help the British people. And the UK has reduced its own carbon dioxide count by far more than competitor nations. And so those who want us to lead in that way, they've got what they wanted.
The plan will mean keeping net zero by 2050, but a promise families will not suffer financially. Some new gas and oil boilers after 2035, a delay to the abolition of oil boilers, and possibly the date by which all new cars must have an electric engine pushed back from 2030 to 2035. Some are worried.
There are practical reasons why we're not ready, but this also makes me very angry. Why hasn't the government made sure that we do have electric charging points distributed around the country? Why hasn't all of the legislation been put in place to drive these things to the point where we all want to drive electric vehicles? By the way, it's not only climate change. It's clean air that we want us and our children to breathe.
A speech in days.
Because Rishi Sunak doesn't care. He doesn't see government as a tool to help people. He doesn't see it as a vocation. And I've said this before, it's about enriching his family. That's what it's all about. Now, of course, he needs to hold on to some sort of support. He needs to protect his MPs to a certain extent. And this is another desperate attempt by Rishi Sunak. We saw it with stopping the boat week, NHS week, both of them an absolute disaster. Education week, another disaster. So this is just another attempt to hold on to a few seats. He has to do something. It's desperation. Now, as I said at the beginning, it doesn't really matter because the Labour Party, when they come into power, can just change this. This is going to be a policy for about a year. Now, unfortunately, British people are going to suffer the consequences in the short term because there aren't enough electric charging stations being set up. This delays changeover from gas and oil boilers. This is going to affect them. What they should be really going with that would help people immediately is insulation. But they don't want to invest the money there either because this is spending money, public money, to help ordinary people. And this is completely against the ethos of the Conservative Party and Rishi Sunak in particular. So this is, once again, this is a desperate attempt by Sunak to hold on to some level of support, hoping that it will grow. He looked at Uxbridge and said, oh, look, there are enough headbangers in Uxbridge to vote for the Tories. Let's hope there are enough headbangers in the country that will vote for us as well. And we can hold on to a few more seats. But it's not going to work. And in the medium term and long term, the Labour Party can easily roll back whatever Rishi Sunak has put in place. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.